Yet again.
With Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Turned out to be a hot one yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, very warm, perfect time for my AC to stop working in my car.
Oh,
but,
no.
Yeah, I'm debating whether to get it fixed. It's almost close to fall, so it's a trade-off. This morning, it's a very muggy start. I can definitely tell that outside this morning. In fact, a live look into Oneonta, where it is currently, surprise, surprise, not foggy. It is a mainly fog-free morning here across central New York, but still, there are a decent amount of clouds passing through, and as well as warm conditions. It's 70 degrees already in Oneonta and 70 in Rome, with 64 degrees reported in Hamilton, and high dew points in the upper 60s, giving that a tacky feel out there early today. Now, the radar is not entirely dry. We're tracking a few spotty showers north of Mohawk Valley, primarily up near Old Forge, heading into Lewis County. But this cold front is rather wimpy. This is passing through, mainly producing only a few spotty showers early this morning, and that's really about it. Mainly bringing clouds for most of the daytime today. Temperatures hovering in the mid-70s this afternoon, so not warming up too much, not cooling down too much, but following today, we could see a nice Thursday, but we'll talk about those rain chances heading into Labor Day weekend in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Former President Trump has been indicted once again for his alleged efforts to overturn a tornado more than a month since it ripped through the city. We caught up with Rome Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan yesterday. He tells us the city is still focused on picking up trees, green waste, and other debris. He says the plan was to not leave any area behind when it comes to cleanup, but there is still some work to do. And as the city cleans up now, ultimately rebuilding will come into play.
Don't want to slow down. We want to keep this positive momentum moving forward. And I think it helps keep the community upbeat, that they see that there's no really a lag where we're not doing something. So as the cleanup continues right now, we're also shifting our efforts into the rebuild. So that'll be next.
As cleanup continues, the community is looking forward to the Honor America Day celebration on September 7th, including the parade and evening concert. You may recall that that celebration was postponed the days after the tornado struck. Well, the B-52 bomber at the Griffiths Business and Technology Park in Rome was also damaged during the storm last month, and there are now plans to not only get the bomber back to its original spot, but how they are going to pay for the repairs. News Channel 2's and Rome's own Thomas Tallarino was in Rome and has more.
The tornado in Rome last month caused the B-52 on the former Air Force Base to be moved off the place it sits. The Henry P. Smith Post, with the help of many other organizations, are developing plans to get the bomber back to its original location that it once sat at for 30 years.
It's pretty intense right now. After the storm, we developed a committee. And we had a lot of key players on the committee.
Damages include the engine cowling, the landing gear, the right fuel tank, and the wingtip gear was also damaged. It is owned by the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and right now there is no estimate on how much the damages will cost, but the main goal is getting it into its regular spot.
We just want to get it back aesthetically to this bomber's never going to fly again, but she wanted to fly one more last time, I guess, because that's where she is now. But yeah, we just want to get her back to what she looked like prior, and with a new paint job too.
After the storm, a B-52 committee was formed that includes the Legion, GLDC, and other organizations associated with the bomber. Rigol will use a large crane to lift the plane back to the pad that it originally rested on. There's a lot of support to preserve a beloved landmark in the city.
Yeah, not just the history of Rome, but just the whole, the whole national aspect of it too, and the respect it pays to our veterans that were, for so many years at Griffiths. So we're there. We're going to help.
There's currently a B-52 committee that is going to meet here at the bomber on Thursday night to talk about the logistics and safety when it comes to moving this plane back to its original site. They're hoping that it's going to be done by the winter. Reporting in Rome, Thomas Tallarino, News Channel 2.
And here in Utica, the Utica Center for Development
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
We'll go back on this Wednesday morning. It is 5:11. We're getting you set to head out door this morning on the Munson CommuteCast. And first off, taking a live look at downtown Utica right now. There's no morning fog compared to yesterday, but still, we've got some cloudy skies across the region. Dry for now, a few spotty showers north of the Mohawk Valley. And a live look at the traffic tracker early this morning. Again, that road closure on Route 28 still in effect until Monday, but I want to zoom in again to that traffic alert in New Hartford, especially Genesee Street. Now, the road work will be primarily done during the overnight hours, between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. today and into Thursday. So, again, this is between Gulf Road and Gulf Ave and Campion Road. And again, the primary road work times will be between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. Expect lane closures as well as flaggers, but this will not be primarily done during the daytime as of now. But again, this morning, not so much in terms of a foggy start, mainly a cloudy start and a muggy one with temperatures already in the upper 60s to low 70s. Then by this afternoon, not warming up by much, only into the mid 70s with still some lingering humidity and, of course, lingering clouds. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The COVID-19 pandemic led to a dip in routine childhood.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. We start out the day with some lingering clouds and a few spotty showers, primarily north of the Mohawk Valley, and will gradually dry out, but those clouds remain pretty persistent. Taking a live look at downtown Utica right now, it's not a foggy start like yesterday, but again, you'll definitely walk outside and notice the mugginess. We've got dew points in the upper 60s, very humid, and temperature of 70 degrees. Feels almost like a overnight day in Florida early this morning. But again, we are still looking at later and later sunrises. Sunrise currently sitting at 6:24 in the morning. Temperatures around the state in the 70s and 60s, more locally, 66 Little Falls. It's actually warmer in Inlet than it is in Little Falls right now. 70 degrees, 74 in Lowville, and 69 in Westmoreland. To the south, 68 Cooperstown, 70 Oneonta, and 67 degrees in Sherburne. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Again, mainly quiet, some lingering rain showers to the north. This front is passing through, but it's a little bit wimpy, so it's not going to produce anything more than just a few spotty showers and mainly cloudy skies. Tropical levels of humidity today. It'll drop very quickly overnight tonight into a cozy Thursday. However, humidity will be back on the rise as we head into Friday and Saturday with the arrival of another rainy system. And so our rainfall look during the daytime, isolated today, isolated late Thursday, and then isolated Friday before more of the rain begins to arrive on Saturday. Now, let's take a look at the larger scale side of things right now. That cold front to the north is sweeping south, and we'll see dry weather following that for tomorrow. But notice tomorrow evening around 7:30, this little trough slings up. We could see a stray shower or rumble of thunder, but most models have this shifting south. But I do want to emphasize the possibility that Thursday evening might not be entirely dry. But following that, we'll actually see the arrival of a cold front heading into Friday night and eventually Saturday. And so in our Skycast, lingering clouds today, some peaks of sunshine by the evening and temperatures in the 70s. Cooling down into the low 60s, upper 50s overnight tonight, and then a pretty beautiful Thursday before, again, those rain chances might arrive Thursday evening. And so your 7-day forecast, we got 70s the next few days, upper 70s by Sunday. It's actually not going to cool down too much for the start or at least middle of Labor Day weekend, but Labor Day itself down into the upper 60s. That will persist into Tuesday of next week. Gary?
Eric, thanks. After a 15-year...
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And when you step out of your door this morning, get ready. It's going to feel like Florida down here, doesn't it?
Yeah, very, very tropical out there early this morning. And, you know, it's tropical. It's relatively dry. Most of us waking up to a dry morning, a few clouds. In fact, taking a live look in Oneonta right now. It's a dry start, not a foggy one, surprisingly. And we've got temperatures across the area in the 70s. Surprisingly, it's 78 already in Syracuse this morning. It is almost 80 degrees at 5:33. So you can tell that some spots are very warm early today. Also, on top of the warm temperatures, it's very humid. Dew points upper 60s near 70, which is almost giving the air a tropical, tacky feel. And the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar showing dry conditions for most of us, but Old Forge actually seeing a rain shower early this morning as far to the west as West Turin and then through Lowville in Lewis County. But again, that's the majority of the rainfall activity early this morning. Other rain showers are passing south of us. This cold front moving through today is a weak one. It's mainly producing a few spotty showers and a few clouds. So we'll see cloudy skies to start, then mostly cloudy skies early this afternoon with that cloud cover decreasing throughout the evening. But temperatures only warming up into the mid-70s. We'll, of course, talk about what we can expect rain-wise for the next few days straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. There's a new development in the race for the White House.
Welcome back on this Wednesday morning. We are showing our photo of the day at roughly 5:42, 5:43 early this morning. And again, we've got a photo in Jordanville, putting Jordanville on the map early today. And 4 fall colors. The title, of course, Is It Too Early for Fall? I don't know if you can, of course, you can see the changing of the colors next to this beautiful backyard barn and chicken coop. Look at that. Whoever did the work on that, what a great job. This is, of course, in Jordanville, where it's not atypical for a few trees that have undergone just some stress to start changing colors. You can see that, of course, in Cooperstown and in other areas around the Mohawk Valley, north and south. But as we approach the next few weeks, we'll start to enter the early parts of the fall foliage season with a few more trees starting to change their colors. Well, this morning, it's feeling not so fall-like. In fact, almost midsummer, late July-like. We've got temperatures starting out in the 70s in some spots early today, with some locations in the 60s, and will not warm up that much, though. We'll talk about reasons why in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. If you've wanted to try one of those popular weight loss drugs, but the high cost has been holding you back, some potentially good.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. It's a dry start for most of the area. Not so much regarding fog, but more so, it's just muggy out early today. Taking a live look at downtown Utica, as you can see here, dry conditions, but let's take a look at that dew point. 70, early 67 degrees, very humid, temperature of 71 at Griffiths in Rome. It is a very warm and very humid start to the day today. So as you head out the door this morning, you're going to definitely feel that mugginess in the atmosphere. Temperatures across the state, 78 in Syracuse, already approaching near 80 degrees, 75 Rochester, of course 71 Rome, 64 Hamilton. Zooming in, it's warmer up in Lowville than it is in Little Falls, 74 Lowville, 66 down in the Mohawk Valley, Southern Valleys, upper 60s, low 70s. And we'll see temperatures not increasing that much throughout the day, only into the mid-70s by this afternoon. And a live look at the radar, mainly quiet conditions, a few spotty showers moving through the North Country right now through Old Forge region. And with the humidity, today it's going to be near tropical levels, but by tomorrow, cozy conditions, beautiful day. Then muggy conditions return on Friday, and we're back to near tropical levels of humidity on Saturday. But how about that rainfall? Well, during the daytime, isolated chances the next 3 days. Most of the activity actually happens overnight, especially the potential for Thursday night into Friday, and then Friday night and into Saturday. Now, this is all driven by a cold front. This is a weak cold front moving through we're talking about. And watch this front sweep south today, maybe fire up an isolated shower, but clouds will be the main culprit from this. A trough extended from that low pressure to the south could produce some showers and clouds as far north as our area, but the main trend is it stays south. But I wanted to mention that rainfall potential heading into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Following that, our big weather maker comes from this cold front arriving from the west. This will arrive, of course, overnight into early Saturday. And so, quickly on our Skycast, early this morning, a few clouds, some patchy light rain showers, drying out by this afternoon with clouds giving way to some more peaks of sunshine, but still clouds are pretty persistent. And then overnight tonight, lows falling down into the upper 50s, low 60s, sunshine and lower humidity for your Thursday. And so your 7-day forecast following Thursday, we've got clouds for Friday, then showers Friday evening, Friday night into Saturday. Temperatures in the 70s. We're down into the 60s as we approach Labor Day itself, and that cool weather continues as we head into the middle of next week. We'll be right back.
First. Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And it may feel a little more like Fort Lauderdale out there this morning when you head out, right?
Yeah, we got a South Florida field as the area this morning. Temperatures in the 70s.
Wow.
And it's muggy out. Very muggy. I would say tropical.
At 5:30 in the morning.
At 5:30 in the morning. In fact, let's take a look outside right now where you can see, well, it's dry, a few clouds, but again, the main thing is it's rather humid. 71 in Rome. It's near 80 in Syracuse early this morning. It was still near 80 degrees at 5 a.m. So just to give you an idea of how warm and how humid the air is. Dew points upper 60s. That's usually as humid as it gets in the morning here in central New York. Already near 70-degree dew points out in Syracuse. Now, a live look there at Full Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We are tracking mainly dry conditions. However, a shower or two has rolled through parts of the North Country up near Old Forge, Lowville, passing Route 28 heading into the Adirondacks, eventually towards Lake Pleasant in Hamilton County. But for the rest of central New York, things are looking relatively dry. This is a weak cold front moving through. So the main thing it'll bring is clouds, maybe a stray shower, but most of us remain dry. Temperatures stay in as high as the low to mid 70s by this afternoon, and then following that, we'll see a comfortable day tomorrow, but maybe some rain showers will return again. We'll talk about when they arrive in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Former President Trump has been indicted once again. Rome tornado, more than a month since it ripped through the city. We caught up with Rome Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan yesterday, and he tells us that the city is still focused on picking up trees, green waste, and other debris. He says the plan was to not leave any area behind when it comes to cleanup, but there is still a lot of work to do. And as the city does clean up, ultimately rebuilding will come into play.
Don't want to slow down. We want to keep this positive momentum moving forward. And I think it helps keep the community upbeat, that they see that there's no really a lag where we're not doing something. So as the cleanup continues right now, we're also shifting our efforts into the rebuild. So that'll be next.
As the cleanup continues, the community is looking forward to, right there, the Honor America Day celebration on September 7th, including the parade and evening concert. Now, you may recall that the big celebration was postponed days after the July tornado struck. And the B-52 bomber at the Griffiths Business and Technology Park in Rome was also damaged during the storm last month. And there are now plans to not only get the bomber back to its original spot, but how they're going to pay for it. News Channel 2's and Rome's own Thomas Tallarino was in Rome and has more.
The tornado in Rome last month caused the B-52 on the former Air Force Base to be moved off the place it sits. The Henry P. Smith Post, with the help of many other organizations, are developing plans to get the bomber back to its original location that it once sat at for 30 years.
It's pretty intense right now. After the storm, we developed a committee, and we had a lot of key players on the committee.
Damages include the engine cowling, the landing gear, the right fuel tank, and the wingtip gear was also damaged. It is owned by the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and right now there is no estimate on how much the damages will cost, but the main goal is getting it into its regular spot.
We just want to get it back aesthetically to this bomber's never going to fly again, but she wanted to fly one more last time, I guess, because that's where she is now. But yeah, we just want to get her back to what she looked like prior, and with a new paint job too.
After the storm, a B-52 committee was formed that includes the Legion, GLDC, and other organizations associated with the bomber. Rigol will use a large crane to lift the plane back to the pad that it originally rested on. There is a lot of support to preserve a beloved landmark in the city.
Yeah, not just the history of Rome, but just the whole, the whole national aspect of it too, and the respect it pays to our veterans that were, for so many years at Griffiths. So we're there. We're going to help.
There's currently a B-52 committee that is going to meet here at the bomber on Thursday night to talk about the logistics and safety when it comes to moving this plane back to its original site. They're hoping that it's going to be done by the winter. Reporting in Rome, Thomas Tellerino, News Channel 2.
And here in Utica, the Utica Center for Development.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
Good Wednesday morning. The time now is 6:12, and we're getting you set to head out the door this morning on the Munson Commutecast. And first off, a live look at downtown Utica. It's overcast this morning, but aside from not seeing early morning fog, the other thing you might notice early today is it's a very humid, a very warm start to the day. Temperatures in the 70s and 60s with extremely high humidity. And a live look at traffic flow early this morning. Again, aside from Route 28 near Newport, which is expected to remain closed until Monday or Labor Day of next week, to pass along a traffic alert along Genesee Street between Gulf Ave and Campion Road. This is for paving, and most of this will be done during the overnight hours. 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. should be done by Thursday. But again, just a heads up that if you're heading through Genesee Street late tonight, you might encounter some lane closures in New Hartford. Well, today it's a dry start for most of us. A few passing clouds north. Temperatures in the 70s with high humidity. By this afternoon, not warming up too much, but again, it still remains in the 70s with mainly dry conditions and mostly cloudy skies. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The COVID-19 pandemic led to a dip in routine childhood.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. It's a mainly dry start, but it's definitely a very humid one out there early this morning. A live look at downtown Utica. We've got overcast skies here in the central New York area and those temperatures of 71 degrees. It is a very warm start to the day and also a very humid start to the day with dew points sitting into the upper 60s. So heading out this morning, opening the door, you might think it's a early Florida morning here locally. Temperatures in the 70s. It's dropped a degree in Syracuse, sitting at 77 right now, but still in the upper 70s by 5, 6 a.m. is something you don't see too common in late August here in central New York. 70 Otter Lake, 71 Westernville, 65 in Dolgeville to the south, 70 in Hamilton, 69 Cooperstown, and 70 degrees in Oneonta. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We're dry right now. The rain showers in the North Country have tapered off for the most part, but can't rule out a stray shower for Speculator early this morning. And it's a tropical one out there early today. But following today, the passage of a cold front, things will look a bit more comfy for tomorrow. Humidity rebounding for Friday, and then we're back to more humid conditions by Saturday. But how about that rainfall look, especially during the daytime? As you can see here, we've got rain showers isolated at times, but most of the area remains dry for today and tomorrow. Maybe not so much tomorrow night, but the main area of seeing rain showers looks to be Saturday, following the passage of another cold front. Now, larger scale, here is that frontal boundary influencing our weather for today. It's shifting south, so we'll see a drop in humidity tonight with some lingering clouds coming to an end. And it's a nice day, Thursday. However, as that front has dipped to the south, that black line, a trough, shifts north. We could see clouds, maybe a stray shower Thursday evening, but again, most of the data coming in says it's going to be dry. However, I do want to just mention the fact that a shower could happen late Thursday evening. Then following that, we'll see the arrival of a few clouds, sunshine for your late Friday afternoon, Friday evening, before more showers and storms roll through. And so, 7-day forecast, cloud to start today, temperatures in the 70s, and then by this evening, we'll dry out a little bit. Temperatures overnight falling down upper 50s, low 60s, and then tomorrow, a beautiful day with highs in the mid 70s. And so your 7-day forecast, we got clouds lingering for Friday, then some peaks of sunshine before a better shot of rain arrives on Saturday. Cool down into the 60s by Labor Day itself. So if you're expecting more fall weather for the start of September, it might be there. Gary?
Eric, thanks. After a 15-year split,
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And you don't want to bundle up this morning out there, do you?
No jacket. In fact, maybe just T-shirt, tank top weather.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we're the tank top to work. We've got temperatures starting out in the 70s right now. Very warm, very humid.
Near
too.
80 over in Syracuse, you were saying.
Yes.
Oh, my.
Yes, very, very warm. In fact, a look outside right now. Again, it's cloudy. It's not quite so foggy like yesterday, but again, the main difference is those temperatures. 71 Rome, as Gary mentioned, near 80 in Syracuse. It was 78 an hour ago. It's dropped 1 degree or so, but still, it is a very warm start to the day. It's actually risen to 70 degrees in Hamilton and still a 65-degree start in Saranac Lake. The other reason why it still feels very warm out is that humidity. Those dew points are in the upper 60s right now. Very humid and very warm start to your day. Now, a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We have seen an end of the rain showers in the North Country at this point. There still is a few spritzy rain showers to the north and west of Boonville and Lewis County, but that's really about it. This front moving through is weak. It's mainly producing clouds. That's about it. And temperatures only climbing today into the mid 70s. So clouds, 70s, humid conditions. Sets the stage for a nice day tomorrow, but will that last until Labor Day weekend? We'll talk about that in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. There's a new development this morning in the race.
Welcome back to Sunrise this morning on this Wednesday, and we're taking a look at our photo of the day today. This one is a photo submitted from Jordanville, putting Jordanville on the map in Otsego County. This one is, of course, of a tree changing colors next to this very, very nice chicken coop and a great backyard barn. I want to compliment whoever did the work on that building. It's absolutely fantastic. But you can see here, fall colors starting to pop up. Again, this is not atypical here in central New York. Usually we see a few outlying trees start to change a bit early. Again, we're only a few weeks away from the, at least, initial start of the fall color changing season. So again, this is just not atypical, but it shows you that we're getting closer and closer to fall. Thank you for that submission. And as we turn our attention to the forecast for today, it's a warm start this morning. Whitesboro at 72 degrees to start. and will remain in the 70s throughout this afternoon, with humidity gradually dropping tonight, setting the stage for potentially a nice day tomorrow. But we'll talk about the rain returning as we head into Labor Day weekend in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. If you've ever wanted to try one of those popular weight loss drinks.
Now, the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on the CW11. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Waking up to a balmy morning. It is probably one of the warmest mornings of the year.
Oh, easily, yeah. And we're talking about, I would say, West Coast Florida type start to the day. Southwest Coast, too. We're talking about maybe a Naples, Fort Myers feel this morning. Live look outside. It's cloudy. It's warm. It's humid. Oneonta right now. You can, I guess, somewhat see the humidity out in the distance, that haze. But it is mainly overcast. Temperatures in the 70s to start today. And on top of that, humidity also very high. Dew point near 70. It's already 69 in Rome. When it reaches 70, we're in the tropical category. So this is probably as humid as it gets for the mornings here in central New York. Now, a live look at the Earthful Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Again, it's mainly dry across the region, but we can't rule out an isolated shower early this morning as we're seeing the arrival of a very weak cold front shifting south. You can see the outline of that heading up near Boonville at this point. But the next 12 hours, favorite temperatures in the mid-70s, with skies clearing potentially by this evening, with still persistent clouds across the board, and humid conditions also coming to an end as we head into tomorrow. A beautiful day expected for your Thursday, but will that last into Labor Day weekend? We'll talk about that straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. There's a new development in the race for the White House. Former aftermath of the Rome tornado, more than a month since it ripped through the city. We caught up with Rome Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan on Tuesday. He tells us the city is still focused on picking up trees, green waste, and other debris. He says the plan was to not leave any area behind when it comes to cleanup, but there is still a lot of work to do. And as the cleanup continues, ultimately, he says rebuilding will come into play.
Don't want to slow down. We want to keep this positive momentum moving forward. And I think it helps keep the community upbeat, that they see that there's no really a lag where we're not doing something. So as the cleanup continues right now, we're also shifting our efforts into the rebuild. So that'll be next.
And as the cleanup continues, the community is looking forward to the Honor America Day celebration right there on September 7th, including the parade and evening concert. You may recall the big celebration was postponed just days after the tornado struck. And the B-52 bomber at the Griffiths Business and Technology Park in Rome was also damaged during the big storms. And there are now plans to not only get the bomber back to its original spot, but how they are going to pay for the expensive repairs. News Channel 2's and Rome's own Thomas Tallarino was in Rome and has more.
The tornado in Rome last month caused the B-52 on the former Air Force Base to be moved off the place it sits. The Henry P. Smith Post, with the help of many other organizations, are developing plans to get the bomber back to its original location that it once sat at for 30 years.
It's pretty intense right now. After the storm, we developed a committee. And we had a lot of key players on the committee.
Damages include the engine cowling, the landing gear, the right fuel tank, and the wingtip gear was also damaged. It is owned by the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and right now there is no estimate on how much the damages will cost, but the main goal is getting it into its regular spot.
We just want to get it back aesthetically to this bomber's never going to fly again, but she wanted to fly one more last time, I guess, because that's where she is now. But yeah, we just want to get her back to what she looked like prior, and with a new paint job too.
After the storm, a B-52 committee was formed that includes the Legion, GLDC, and other organizations associated with the bomber. Rigol will use a large crane to lift the plane back to the pad that it originally rested on. There is a lot of support to preserve a beloved landmark in the city.
Yeah, not just the history of Rome, but just the whole, the whole national aspect of it too, and the respect it pays to our veterans that were, for so many years at that at Griffiths. So we're there. We're going to help.
There's currently a B-52 committee that is going to meet here at the bomber on Thursday night to talk about the logistics and safety when it comes to moving this plane back to its original site. They're hoping that it's going to be done by the winter. Reporting in Rome, Thomas Tellerino, News Channel 2.
And here in Utica, the Utica Center for Development is getting
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Wednesday morning, everyone. We are starting out the day with clouds and even humid conditions. Very humid, I should say. In fact, take a live look at downtown Utica right now. Overcast skies. Even though it's not sunny out, we've got dew points near 70 degrees. That is near tropical levels. On top of that, of course, the temperature itself is also at 71 degrees. So it is a almost South Florida feel to the morning today. And those temperatures across the region from our sky watchers still in the 70s, 74 New Hartford, 69 in Westdale. Bill and Old Forge with 70 degrees, Shawn and Inlet with 69, and then to the south, Mark and Milford 68, Gary and Skenevis 64, Devon Harwick with 68 degrees, and Stewart and Cooperstown with 69. Radar right now is mainly quiet. A few spritzy showers are expected this morning into the late morning as this cold front sweeps through. It's weak, so it's not going to be impacting us more than mainly clouds and, again, those spritzy showers. Tropical levels of humidity today, comfy levels tomorrow. A sharp decline in humidity before rebounding as we head into Friday and eventually Saturday, with humidity back to near tropical levels again. But how about that rainfall chance? Daytime rainfall outlook for the next few days. Isolated today, again, those spritzy, isolated showers. Same thing for Thursday. Dry start potentially in the evening. And then on Friday, again, it's a dry start with a few clouds, and then eventually we'll see arrival of rain showers, widespread rain on Saturday. Now, larger scale view of things, this cold front is sweeping through our area today. It's weak, it's producing clouds, but we'll see sunshine following the passage of this front heading into tomorrow. Now, I'm stopping it here, noting this trough right here as it shifts north from that low pressure. It could fire up some clouds and maybe a shower or two in our local area. Again, the chances are low, but I figured I'd mention it just in case. Then following that, we'll see a cold front arrive heading into Friday night and into early Saturday. On our Skycast, 70s today. Clouds give way to probably some better shots for some sunshine in the evening hour, especially heading out east towards Fulton and Montgomery counties. Then tonight, few passing clouds and lows in the upper 50s, low 60s, giving way to sunshine tomorrow. Clouds, at least mostly cloudy skies for Friday. Widespread rain and some rumbles of thunder Saturday, drying out, at least drier of the 2 weekend days on Sunday, and cooling down Monday and Tuesday for Labor Day.
With Gary Liberatore.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. We begin this noon with the news that the former St. Mary's Church, an iconic landmark in the city of Rome, is planned to be demolished as a result of the damage from the EF2 tornado last month. We spoke with Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan late this morning about what happens next. Now, unfortunately, the damage was too severe to restore the building, and so now plans are in place to move forward with the demolition. It remained as an independent church until the late 2000s, and since then, the church has been in the hands of the Kabari Wellness Institute, a small business in Rome. So who will have to pay for the massive demolition cost? We spoke with Mayor Lanigan late this morning. He says that is still under discussion, but first things first, the city wants to know what that cost will be, so there will be legislation introduced at tonight's Common Council meeting to put the demolition out for bid.
That's what we're working on right now. Legislation out there was to get a price tag on it of what it's actually going to cost. And then when we get that back of what that dollar amount's going to be, we'll sit back down with Kabari and we'll come up with a game plan of what we're going to do to make that happen.
Mayor Lanigan says the legislation to put the demolition out for bid is on the agenda for tonight's Common Council meeting. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now, and it's hard to believe that it's been more than a month since that tornado.
Yeah, it's been just Busy stretch of weather this summer. Unfortunately, the iconic landmark's been
Yeah.
around since the 1870s, 150 years, which of course, unfortunately, the way the damage was can't really be saved. But as we turn our attention to the weather today, yeah, it's been a muggy start, but overall not too bad of an afternoon. Temperatures are in the 70s. It's a little cloudy out there on our Cavi Tower camera. Some peaks of sunshine here and there, but I want to turn our attention to Oneonta, where it's not entirely dry. Matter of fact, there's some light drizzle taking place, and I want to show it on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. As you can see here, mainly quiet conditions, but we turn up the sensitivity right here and we zoom into the southern valleys. We can see faint signature of light drizzle. This is all happening very close to the surface, so radar is having a tough time pinpointing it out, but we can see it here, and of course we saw it on the camera down in Oneonta. Around the state, those temperatures are still in the 70s. Syracuse has remained at 78 degrees for pretty much most of the day today. Hasn't really climbed too much, hasn't fallen. It's been a very muggy but summer-like day here in central New York. Still very humid, dew points upper 60s, and will remain in the mid to upper 70s until this evening. We'll cool down into the 60s and 50s overnight tonight with drying conditions and even talk of a nicer day tomorrow. We'll of course mention that in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Great news for New York State and the Mohawk Valley today.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. It's been a very muggy, but overall not too hot day with a few clouds in the sky. Downtown Utica right now, we did see a glimpse of sunshine. More overcast has moved in for now, but as you can see here, those current conditions still 77, very humid with the dew point of 68 degrees. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Mohawk Valley right now is currently looking dry. However, we did track a few light sprinkles and drizzle moving through parts of the southern valleys. Again, this is all part of a cold front, a weak one, moving south, which is going to bring a drop in that humidity down to comfortable levels tomorrow. Then it will slowly be on the rise again as we head into Friday and eventually Saturday, where our best chance of rain the next 4 days will take place. Daytime rainfall for today, tomorrow, and Friday look to be isolated in nature like we just saw earlier on, with some spots seeing it in the southern valleys. Larger scale setup. This is that weak cold front I was telling you about. It's pushing south right now. Then we'll be in a Canadian air mass. Basically, that means we're going to be seeing lower humidity and more comfortable temperatures. However, notice here that black line of trough shifting north. We could see a shower, clouds, rumble of thunder later on tomorrow evening. The chance is low, but since it's getting modeled here and it could be on our doorstep, I figured I would mention the chance for rain. We'll, of course, have better details on that as more data comes in by tomorrow. Besides that, though, we'll see a better shot for rain from this approaching cold front, a lot more notable, and that arrives heading into Saturday. And so, our skycast, right now, clouds, a few areas of spotty light rain showers, temperatures peaking in the mid to upper 70s. Tonight, lows fall down into the low 50s to upper 60s, or upper 50s to low 60s, I should say, before we're tracking a nice day tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine, low humidity, and highs in the mid 70s. Again, cutting it close for rain south. Then, as we head into Friday, we could start out with a few clouds, maybe a light rain shower in the morning with drying conditions by the afternoon. And so, your 7-day forecast, we've got 70s the next several days. Best shot for rain Saturday. Unfortunately for now, it looks to be the rainiest of the next few. If you have any Saturday plans, if you want to switch them maybe to Sunday, that's their better shot of seeing dry weather. But for the rest of Labor Day weekend, for Labor Day itself, it's cooler, 60s and sunshine. Feeling like a bit of fall.
Yeah.
The first few days of September.
Yeah.
Already starting to arrive.
We definitely had a hot July, though. That's
Very
for sure,
hot.
making up for all this. Eric, thanks. The extreme heat, though, is taking over many park gauge now. And Eric, our balmy weather might be good for those mosquitoes tonight, right?
Well, maybe, maybe not. Depends on whether the mosquitoes do like that humidity, which in that case, they do like the humidity, they like the standing water. But one thing I was trying to capture, and I feel like I've always had bad luck with this, the sun was peeking out a few seconds ago in Cooperstown. I'm ready to show it, and then
Gone.
it's gone. Well, that's the case today. We've got clouds, we've got a few peaks of sunshine, and on top of that, parts of the southern valleys, maybe even a sprinkle or two of rain showers. In fact, it's 76 in Cooperstown, and to the south in Oneonta, in the far distance, some light drizzle, sitting at 72 degrees. So it's not the warmest day, the warmest summertime day, but it's one of the more humid ones right now. Radar right now is quiet and dry, but again, zooming into the southern valleys, there's a few light rain showers. In fact, one passing just across I-81. This might move into the Norwich area in the span of the next 45 minutes to an hour or so. But these showers are few and far between. They're falling apart, but it's all part of this cold front sweeping south. Notice up in the northern part of New York State, cooler temperatures will we still hang into the mid-70s right now with high humidity, dew points in the upper 60s. Now, the next 12 hours will remain in the 70s until this evening, drying up and cooling down into the low 60s, upper 50s before we could be seeing a beautiful day tomorrow. We'll talk about that in that forecast straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Cleanup continues in the aftermath tornado, more than a month since it ripped through the city. We caught up with Rome Mayor Jeffrey Lanigan. He tells us the city is still focused on picking up trees, green waste, and other debris. He says the plan was to not leave any area behind when it comes to cleanup, but there is still work to do. And as the city cleans up now, ultimately rebuilding will come into play.
Don't want to slow down. We want to keep this positive momentum moving forward. And I think it helps keep the community upbeat, that they see that there's no really a lag where we're not doing something. So as the cleanup continues right now, we're also shifting our efforts into the rebuild. So that'll be next.
And as the cleanup continues, the community is looking forward to the Honor America Day celebration on September 7th, including the parade and evening concert. You may recall the celebration was postponed days after the tornado struck in July. And the B-52 bomber at the Griffiths Business and Technology Park in Rome was also damaged during the storm last month. And there are now plans to not only get the bomber back to its original spot, but how they are going to pay for the expensive repairs. News Channel 2's and Rome's own Thomas Tallarino was in Rome and has more.
The tornado in Rome last month caused the B-52 on the former Air Force Base to be moved off the place it sits. The Henry P. Smith Post, with the help of many other organizations, are developing plans to get the bomber back to its original location that it once sat at for 30 years.
It's pretty intense right now. After the storm, we developed a committee, and we had a lot of key players on the committee.
Damages include the engine cowling, the landing gear, the right fuel tank, and the wingtip gear was also damaged. It is owned by the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and right now there is no estimate on how much the damages will cost, but the main goal is getting it into its regular spot.
We just want to get it back aesthetically to this bomber's never going to fly again, but she wanted to fly one more last time, I guess, because that's where she is now. But yeah, we just want to get her back to what she looked like prior, and with a new paint job too.
After the storm, a B-52 committee was formed that includes the Legion, GLDC, and other organizations associated with the bomber. Rigol will use a large crane to lift the plane back to the pad that it originally rested on. There is a lot of support to preserve a beloved landmark in the city.
Yeah, not just the history of Rome, but just the whole, the whole national aspect of it too, and the respect it pays to our veterans that were, for so many years at Griffiths. So we're there. We're going to help.
There's currently a B-52 committee that is going to meet here at the bomber on Thursday night to talk about the logistics and safety when it comes to moving this plane back to its original site. They're hoping that it's going to be done by the winter. Reporting in Rome, Thomas Tallarino, News Channel 2.
A Utica woman
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. We're still tracking a few clouds moving through the area. Temperatures in the 70s and still very high humidity. Live look at downtown Utica. Some darker clouds moving through. They almost look a bit ominous, but don't worry. They're not expected to cause anything regarding heavy rain, just clouds and lots of them. Dew point is 67, still very humid out there early this afternoon. And a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Again, most of the area right now is looking pretty dry, but as you can see here, some lingering light rain and patchy drizzle moved to the southern valleys later on this morning. Now, with the humidity, it's still very high today. Within the passage of a cold front, we'll see more comfy conditions tomorrow before humidity will be slowly on the rise again as we approach Friday and eventually the rainiest day of the next 4 on Saturday. Now, daytime rainfall over the next few days, isolated in nature. Thursday, maybe in the evening hours, and then Friday, potentially in the early morning. But besides that, there are plenty of opportunities for dry weather for all 3 of the, or at least today and then the next 2 days. And so, larger scale picture. Here's that cold front sweeping south. That front will stay south for the next, give or take, 24, 36 hours. What you can see here is a trough, that dashed black line right there. Could shift north. We could see a shower, rumble of thunder heading into late Thursday, early Friday morning. But then we'll dry out by Friday evening, and our next chance of rain, much more notable, a stronger cold front arriving as we head into Saturday morning to Saturday afternoon. And so, on our Skycast, you can see here a few lingering stubborn clouds. Temperatures still in the 70s. We'll cool down into the 50s and 60s early tomorrow morning, and it'll be a pretty comfortable day with plenty of sunshine and temperatures in the mid-70s as we head throughout Thursday. And so your 7-day forecast, a few more clouds Friday morning with a chance of a shower, drying out Friday evening. Best chance for rain the next few days on Saturday. If you have any weekend or Labor Day plans, maybe a better shot would be Sunday. But then again, rain arrives again Sunday night, and we dry out again on Monday. So not entirely dry the second half of the weekend, but during the daytime, a better shot for dry weather compared to Saturday.
That's for sure. Looking forward to the weekend. So is everybody. Eric, thanks. The investigation continues today, and the gruesome...
That's with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Boy, was it muggy today.
It was really sticky. Even though it wasn't as warm, the humidity was pretty high. We're going to lose that as we head into tonight. We've got a cold front moving in all day. The skies have been cloudy, and it's been looking like it's going to rain, but we haven't seen more than a few sprinkles from time to time, and that's going to continue this evening. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Do note that because we're dealing with such very light precipitation, the radar sometimes does miss that. So again, can't rule out a sprinkle here this evening. Live look in downtown Utica, 76 degrees is the current temperature, but the number that stands out, the dew point, still 65. That number is going to be going down tonight as some cooler weather works in from the north. We'll see a drop in the humidity. A nice couple of days here Thursday and Friday before rain returns on Saturday and cooler weather arrives as we head into Labor Day. Mostly cloudy skies this evening, temperatures in the 70s. Got to look at the forecast as we head into the holiday weekend. That's coming up. Jason, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Bill. State police responded to a possible
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. A cloudy day, very humid out as a cold front very slowly pushes to the south. This is a live look in Cooperstown. A cloudy 76 degrees. Again, it's very muggy outside, but we are looking at generally dry conditions. Occasionally, we are seeing a sprinkle, and that could continue as we head into this evening. There is a cold front that is very slowly pushing through the area, And again, it could still produce a couple of sprinkles here. This was the sunset, the skyline from Rome. This was taken yesterday by Monica Underwood. Beautiful sky, and hopefully with some clearing tonight, we should be able to capture a nice sunset. We'll see. The clouds will probably end up winning out, though. Temperatures, again, in the 70s this evening. Notice the hot weather now starting to push to the south. Pretty dramatic change in temperature between northern New York in the 60s versus downstate New York in the upper 80s. Poughkeepsie's still checking in at 88 degrees. Again, that cooler weather is going to continue to drift in from the north. Again, bigger picture showing a cold front slowly pushing southward. We've got nicer, drier conditions on the way and a nice weather pattern here over the next 48 hours. Tonight, decreasing clouds. It's going to cool off. In fact, I think you'll be able to turn off the air conditioner and open up the windows. Overnight lows are expected to be in the 50s and perhaps the low 50s in spots. Tomorrow, it's a beautiful day. A light wind from the east, plenty of sunshine, a noticeable drop in the humidity. Very comfortable out with temperatures in the low to mid 70s. Tomorrow night, the weather remains partly cloudy. Overnight lows will drop down into the upper 50s. We'll notice a few extra clouds here on Friday. We'll call it mostly cloudy. There might be a sprinkle here Friday as a very weak disturbance moves in from the west. But again, I think most of us are looking at a dry day, mostly cloudy skies. Again, temperatures climb into the low 70s. And then, as we start the holiday weekend, weather system is expected to bring widespread rain as we head into Saturday. Cooler tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 53, a lot cooler than last night. Tomorrow, partly sunny, less humidity, a light breeze, temperatures in the mid-70s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Saturday looks like the gloomiest of the weekend stretch. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Could see a shower on Sunday, or I should say shower late Sunday, high of 79. Labor Day, Jason's favorite weather icon of all time.
That is the cool station wagon.
Did you have a station wagon growing up?
Oh, every car we ever owned was a station wagon.
I grew up with the station wagon too. My parents drove us everywhere in that.
Yeah, that's how
Fun
we got
being
to
in the back
camping.
seat with two other siblings.
Ooh, you had it rough. All right, thanks, Phil. The unofficial end of summer is nearly upon us. And
Yeah, it's a nice time of the year. We're looking at temperatures tomorrow in the 70s. Very comfortable if you're heading to the State Fair. Partly sunny skies, and we'll see less humidity. A big drop in that is expected over the next 24 hours as a cold front drops in from the north. We can't rule out a very brief sprinkle this evening. Otherwise, it looks to remain mostly cloudy. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Again, we really haven't seen much activity throughout the day, but although the sky has looked pretty ominous throughout most of the day, very little rain to show for it so far. That'll be the case this evening under mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be in the 70s. If you're taking the dog out for a walk, it does become a little bit less humid past sunset. Tonight's featured dog, Axel, from Richfield Springs. This is brought to you by Nye Automotive Group. We are tracking some nice weather, but also some rain returning as we head into the weekend. We'll look at the forecasts coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Turning Stone is celebrating the 25th anniversary of Best Now with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
So we're tracking some cooler weather that'll be building in from the north here as we head into tonight. This is a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. A few sprinkles showing up on the radar. Might see a brief one here. I know for most of the day, skies have looked pretty ominous, but we've seen nothing more than just a brief sprinkle here, and that'll be the case this evening. Cloudy 73, but it's still very humid. The dew point at 63. The humidity is going to drop tonight. Temperatures will cool off as well. In fact, you could turn off the air conditioner and open up the windows tonight. We're going to be in the 50s. Rain looks to return on Saturday, and cooler weather to follow as we head into Labor Day and beyond. We'll taste of early fall here in central New York. Temperatures in the 70s this evening. Again, a brief sprinkle is possible. We've got to look at the forecast heading into the weekend coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. State police responded to a possible road rage.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're going to see a big drop in the humidity tonight as a cold front rolls through. Let's take a look at how the forecast plays out for Labor Day and the weekend that leads up to it. Saturday looks wet. Temperatures in the mid-70s. I think most of the day is wet. Not quite ready to call it a washout, but we're probably 2/3 of the way there. Sunday looks dry, Monday as well. Sunday, the warmer of the stretch, up to 79. It's going to feel like early fall on Monday with a high temperature of 68 degrees. Looks like a beautiful day. And then that cooler weather does stick around into early next week before we start to warm up. Live look at downtown Utica. It's been a gloomy day. Usually we don't see clouds stick around the entire day in the summer. At least it's uncommon. But today was one of those days. Still pretty humid out there. We are seeing a few sprinkles to the north. Can't rule out a very brief shower here heading into tonight as that cold front rolls through. Beautiful sunset yesterday. This was in Rome by Monica Marie Underwood. I don't think we're going to see quite as much color tonight with a cloud cover around, but you never know. We might luck out. Sunshine is going to be around for Thursday and Friday. Those look to be nice days to cut the lawn. On Saturday, it looks wet. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Skywatchers checking in. Again, a very humid day. Mike in New Hartford, 80. Barneveld, 74. Helen and Cassville, 76. Jeff in Mohawk with 77. 80 degrees in Carroll's backyard in Worcester. So look at the radar and satellite image. We have a cold front that's just been limping through our area, bringing mostly cloudy skies. As the front heads south, we will see a big drop in the humidity tonight. And it's going to be a cool night. You can turn off the air conditioner, open up the windows. We're down into the 50s. Should be a much more comfortable night for sleeping compared to last night. Sunshine tomorrow, very pleasant. High temperatures in the mid-70s. Tomorrow night, increasing clouds. Overnight lows drop down into the upper 50s. On Friday, it's looking mostly cloudy. There's a very small chance for a brief shower. Shouldn't last very long, though. High temperatures Friday climb once again into the low to mid-70s. A noticeably cooler night tonight, low temperature of 53. Tomorrow, beautiful day, less humidity, partly sunny, high of 75. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Mostly cloudy Friday, 73. Showers expected on Saturday, again, pretty close to a washout. But the rest of the weekend looks pretty nice, as well as on Monday. Cooler to start early next week. High temperatures near 70 on Tuesday, mid-70s on Wednesday. Again, Labor Day should be pretty nice and kind of fitting that it's going to feel like early fall with the unofficial end to summer.
Not quite hoodie weather because the sun's going to be out, but still,
maybe
towards the
Monday
evening, you're going to
yeah.
want a light jacket.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Bill. Still to come on News Channel 2 at 6, our tour. Time now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. What? Am I really seeing trees changing already?
The first ones are always a surprise every year.
Every year. Seems a little early.
Believe
It
it or
happens
not,
in August, though,
believe it or
right?
not, it does happen in August. I know it's like I said, the early ones are always a surprise. We're still expecting the fall colors to be on schedule, on time. But this picture from West Winfield definitely raising some eyebrows. No, the world is not ending. We're going to be fine. But yes, it is just a reminder that the seasons are going to change. And yes, September is just a couple of days away. As we say, the unofficial end to summer, meteorological fall, begins on September 1st. A couple of sprinkles out there this evening. We've had a lot of humidity in the air, but that is going to drop over the next 24 hours. Our current temperature is 66 degrees. Still pretty warm out there this evening, just not quite as warm as last night at this time. Heading to the New York State Fair, a beautiful day tomorrow, partly sunny, temperatures in the mid-70s. As we go to bed tonight, you can open up the windows, cool off the house. Overnight lows drop into the upper 50s. It should be a much more comfortable night for sleeping. We're tracking some nice weather for the next couple of days. Also, look at the weekend forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. New tonight, the FBI has
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. Welcome back. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. Temperature of 68 degrees. It's not as warm as it was last night at this time. We've got a cold front that came through, and it's going to set the stage for some cooler weather as we head into the weekend. We're looking at not a terrible Labor Day in terms of weather. The weekend, at least 2 of the 3 days look dry. But Saturday, unfortunately, does not. In fact, we're leaning towards a washout on Saturday, a temperature of 74 degrees. Sunday, looking warmer and dry, 79. And then Labor Day, a cooler day and kind of an early fall feel with mostly sunny skies and a temperature of 68 degrees. We're tracking a couple of sprinkles and showers across central Herkimer County and southern Hamilton County. These are moving to the east and really not producing a whole lot of weather. We could see a very brief sprinkle here tonight as that cold front continues to drop in from the north. We've got some nice weather to cut the lawn. If you've got to do that and you want to get it done before the weekend, tomorrow and Friday are good days to do that. Saturday, again, with the rain in the forecast, doesn't look great. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. So today's weather, again, being driven by a cold front which continues to drop to the south. That's going to usher in some much drier air as we head into the end of the week. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast tonight, a much cooler night. Overnight lows drop down into the 50s. Beautiful day tomorrow, lots of sunshine, temperatures in the mid-70s, a noticeable drop in the humidity. Dew points will be in the 50s. Tomorrow night, the weather remains dry. We'll see a few clouds thicken up as we head towards Friday morning. There is the chance on Friday, a very small chance of a sprinkle. But again, I think most of Friday looks dry, mostly cloudy. Temperatures climb into the low to mid-70s. Tonight, cooler, partly cloudy, 53 for the overnight low. Tomorrow, partly sunny and pleasant, highs in the mid-70s. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast, mostly cloudy Friday, 73. Again, wet weather to start the weekend. Saturday, near washout, 74. It's cooler as we head towards Labor Day, 68. Look at Monday night, 45. Yeah, a little chilly, but it's back to sunshine and pleasant temperatures. We're looking at highs in the low 70s Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be right back.
Time now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. And yeah, this.
It's starting.
You know what? And I was shocked earlier, but really when you make a good point of it, there are trees that start turning in August.
And every year it's a surprise. It always catches us off guard, though. I mean, like summer is moving on, and then all of a sudden
you hit the brakes.
You hit the brakes, and it's like, wow, like a couple of these trees always seem to go early. Mm-hmm. We're still expecting the fall colors to be on time this year. This picture, by the way, from Diane Butts in West Winfield. That was Stone Road. The weather tonight, cooling off. A cold front moved through earlier today. There's still a few lingering showers in southern Hamilton County, but those are moving out. Our weather is going to cool down as we head into tonight. Our current temperature is 65 degrees. The dew point is down. Still a little humid out there, but a very small amount compared to earlier. It was very humid earlier today. Heading to the New York State Fair tomorrow. It looks like a really nice day. Partly sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-70s, dry, and again, low humidity, very comfortable day to be walking around. Tonight, good night to open up the windows, turn off the air conditioner, cool off the house. Temperatures will drop into the 50s. We've got to look at the Labor Day weekend forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. New tonight, the FBI has released.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. A temperature of 67 degrees. Still pretty warm out there for August, late August, but a lot cooler than it was last night when we were still in the 70s. We've got some wet weather to start Labor Day weekend. Saturday looking pretty close to a washout, 74 degrees for the high. The weather does improve on Sunday, partly sunny skies, 79, and then Labor Day itself feeling more like early fall as summer unofficially comes to an end. Monday's high temperature, 68. We are tracking a couple of showers out there across southern Hamilton County, moving to the east. The weather tonight does dry out. If you're looking to cut the lawn before the weekend, you've got opportunities tomorrow and Friday for that. Our MoCast is brought to you by Clinton Tractor. Radar and satellite image showing a cold front moving through the area earlier today. We saw the humidity kind of linger on, but that front is making progress, and we are experiencing a drop in the humidity tonight. It's going to allow for temperatures to drop into the 50s overnight with partly cloudy skies. Good night to open up the windows, air out the house, turn off the air conditioner. We'll get a nice break from the humidity tomorrow. It looks like a really nice day. Partly sunny skies, high temperatures in the mid-70s. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows drop down into the 50s. On Thursday, more sunshine, or I should say Thursday night into Friday, clouds on the way. On Friday, it does look cloudier. Weak weather system moving in. There is a small chance that we could see a brief shower late in the day, but again, I think most of Friday does look pretty quiet. Temperatures once again in the low to mid 70s. Tonight, cooler, low of 53. Tomorrow, a beautiful day, partly sunny and pleasant. Again, a noticeable drop in the humidity with a light breeze, and again, a high temperature of 75, which is pretty close to average for this time of the year. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast, low 70s on Friday, mostly cloudy. A steady rain on Saturday, 74. We're up to 79 on Sunday, and a cold front arrives Sunday night. That's going to set the stage for a crisp Labor Day. 68 for the high. Look at the overnight low Monday night, 45. Ooh. Could be heading out Monday evening.
Gonna have a jacket.
Sweater weather.
Yeah, a little early for that. How about a hoodie?
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Coming up next.